Your body sent you a warning last night. You just didn't recognize it as one. That sharp involuntary contraction that woke you up at 3 a.m., that sudden tightening in your calf that made you jump out of bed, that was not a random event. That was your nervous system firing a distress signal because something inside your cellular environment is critically off balance. And the most dangerous part? Most people reach for a painkiller, go back to sleep, and never ask the one question that actually matters. Why is this happening to me in the first place? Today we are going to answer that question in a way that most health content never does, because the real conversation about leg cramps, swelling, and chronic leg pain goes far deeper than drink more water and eat a banana. Drop in the comments right now, where are you watching from? I want to know how many people dealing with this are in the same city, the same country, the same climate, because where you live affects this more than you think. Here is the first thing almost no one in the health and wellness space explains properly. Your muscle cells are running on electricity. Every single contraction, every movement your leg makes, depends on a microscopic mechanism called the sodium-potassium pump. This pump is embedded in the membrane of each muscle cell, and its job is to push 3 sodium ions out of the cell while pulling 2 potassium ions in. This constant exchange is what generates the electrical charge your nerve cells need to fire correctly. When this pump is working, your muscles contract when you tell them to, and they relax when the signal stops. When this pump fails, the electrical signal never fully stops. The muscle stays partially contracted. That is a cramp. Now here is what nobody tells you. This pump does not just need potassium. It needs a very specific ratio of potassium to sodium, and in modern nutritional patterns, that ratio is profoundly broken. The human body was designed to receive roughly 5 times more potassium than sodium through daily nutrient intake. Today, the average person does the exact opposite, consuming far more sodium and dramatically less potassium than their cellular physiology requires. When that ratio inverts, your sodium-potassium pumps begin to malfunction, fluid starts accumulating outside the cells instead of inside them, your lower extremities swell, and your muscles become hyperexcitable, which means they cramp at the smallest provocation. The swelling you see in your legs and ankles is not just cosmetic. It is a sign of a broken internal pump system. When sodium-potassium regulation fails, fluid collects outside the cells, which is what produces that visible puffiness, and pressing the area leaves a small indentation behind, a condition known as pitting edema. JAMA network. That indentation is direct, visible evidence that your cellular fluid balance has been disrupted. Magnesium plays a direct role in this process. It is a key component in the cellular pumps that control fluid movement. Without enough magnesium, these pumps malfunction, causing fluid to pool outside the cells and leading to swelling. Jeffrey Peng, MD. This is why magnesium and potassium are always discussed together in the context of leg health. They are not separate solutions. They are co-regulators of the same system. Now pause for a second and think about your nutritional intake over the past week. How many times did you consume something heavily processed, heavily salted, or stripped of its natural mineral content? Every single one of those moments was a moment your sodium-potassium ratio shifted further in the wrong direction. This is not about one bad day. This is about a chronic pattern that accumulates silently inside your body until the night your leg wakes you up screaming. The second piece of this conversation is where things get genuinely fascinating and where most health content completely drops the ball. Everyone has heard that magnesium is important for muscle function. What almost no one explains is how magnesium actually gets into your muscle cells and why supplementing magnesium alone often fails to resolve cramps. Once magnesium is inside cells, keeping it there depends on having sufficient sodium, chloride, potassium, and calcium, as well as taurine. This reinforces the point that all 5 electrolytes are crucial to muscular health, not just the 2 most commonly discussed. Ubi-taurine is a semi-essential amino acid that acts as a stabilizer for magnesium inside the cell. When taurine levels are insufficient, magnesium cannot be retained intracellularly regardless of how much you consume. It gets absorbed into your bloodstream and excreted before it ever reaches the muscle tissue where it is needed. As soon as ATP forms inside the cell, the available magnesium, which is actually stored alongside taurine, is used to stabilize that ATP as it moves from its generation point to muscle contractile structures. Magnesium must be continually shuttled through intracellular areas to keep muscles contracting properly. UBI. This is an extraordinarily specific biochemical process, and it depends entirely on the taurine being there to support it. Without taurine, the magnesium transport pathway breaks down. This has a direct clinical implication that most people never discover. If you have been taking magnesium and your leg cramps have not improved, the problem may not be your magnesium intake. The problem may be that your body cannot retain the magnesium you are already consuming because the taurine infrastructure that holds it in place is depleted. And taurine depletion is extremely common. It increases with physical stress, oxidative stress, poor sleep quality, and chronic inflammation, all of which are conditions that virtually every person dealing with persistent leg cramps is already experiencing. Research on taurine and muscle cramping has shown that taurine supplementation significantly reduced cramps in patients with chronic liver disease, a population with high oxidative burden and disrupted electrolyte metabolism, suggesting that taurine's role in cramp prevention is particularly powerful in people under physiological stress. WebMD. Tell me something in the comments. Have you ever taken magnesium for your cramps and noticed it worked inconsistently? Some nights nothing, other nights relief. That inconsistency is a strong clue that your taurine levels may be the missing variable. The combination matters more than the individual nutrient. The third dimension of this conversation is the one I find most overlooked in the health and wellness space, and it involves a family of nutrients that most people associate with energy and brain health rather than leg function. B vitamins, specifically B1, B6, and B12, have a profound and underappreciated relationship with swelling, nerve pain, and circulatory integrity in the lower extremities. Vitamin B1, also called thiamine, is essential for the proper functioning of the heart and blood vessels. A deficiency can impair the heart's ability to pump effectively, leading to fluid buildup in the lower extremities. As a key player in converting carbohydrates into fuel, B1 deficiency can also compromise energy production and nerve health, which directly worsens circulatory problems. Jeffrey Peng, MD. This is significant because many people who experience chronic leg swelling also report fatigue and a reduced capacity to tolerate physical activity, both of which are downstream effects of thiamine insufficiency affecting cardiovascular output. Vitamin B6 acts as a natural diuretic inside the body, helping eliminate excess fluid that accumulates in the legs and feet. It promotes the production of urine, which helps flush out extra fluids and reduces water retention. Additionally, swelling in the lower extremities is often caused by an electrolyte imbalance between sodium and potassium, and vitamin B6 helps regulate these electrolytes, ensuring the body maintains the right balance to prevent fluid buildup. Pharmacy Times research from the Cleveland Clinic has shown that a deficiency in vitamin B6 can cause edema swelling not just in the feet but throughout the body. Vitamins B6, B9, and B12 have also been shown to reduce the inflammatory processes that contribute to swelling. Medical Express. Now think about this carefully. B vitamins are water-soluble. Your body cannot store them the way it stores fat-soluble vitamins. Every day you need to replenish them through nutritional intake, and B vitamins are particularly sensitive to destruction through food processing, prolonged heat exposure, and refined carbohydrate consumption, which strips the grains of the B vitamins that were naturally present. This means that a person eating a largely processed nutritional pattern could be borderline B vitamin deficient for years, experiencing gradual worsening of leg swelling, nerve sensitivity, and nighttime cramping, with no single dramatic deficiency event to point to, just a slow, quiet erosion of the cellular environment that supports healthy legs. Where are you right now? Watching from home, from work, from somewhere you are supposed to be doing something else? Drop your location in the comments. I want to see the geographic range of people dealing with this specific combination of symptoms, because I genuinely believe the nutritional environment of different regions plays a role in how widespread these deficiencies are. The fourth and final piece of this conversation is the one that connects everything, and it is the mechanism that almost no health content on leg cramps ever discusses. It involves blood glucose regulation and a process called glycation, and understanding it changes how you look at your entire nutritional strategy. High blood sugar plays a direct role in triggering edema through glycation, a process in which sugar molecules attach to proteins in the blood and disrupt their ability to function properly. When this happens, the blood loses its capacity to efficiently carry nutrients and oxygen to the tissues. JAMA network. Now apply that to your legs specifically. Your lower extremities are the furthest point from your heart in the circulatory pathway. They are the hardest area to perfuse with oxygen and nutrients under normal conditions. When glycation begins degrading the proteins in your blood vessels, the legs are the first place where that degradation becomes visible as swelling, pain, and compromised nerve function. This is why people with chronically elevated blood glucose experience leg symptoms so disproportionately. It is not just about the nerve damage associated with diabetic neuropathy. It is about the progressive deterioration of the vascular infrastructure that supplies your legs with every mineral, vitamin, and amino acid we have discussed today. Even if your nutritional intake is adequate, glycation-driven vascular damage means those nutrients cannot reach the tissue that needs them. The delivery system is broken. Combining nutrients like magnesium, potassium, and B vitamins with a nutritional pattern low in sugar and refined carbohydrates addresses this problem from both directions, replenishing the nutrients that support cellular pump function while also reducing the glycation burden that is compromising vascular delivery. JAMA network. This is why no single nutrient resolves this for everyone. The people who try magnesium and feel nothing often have high glycation load. The people who try B vitamins and feel partial relief still have the glycation, blocking full vascular recovery. The approach that actually works addresses all four layers simultaneously, restoring the potassium-sodium ratio, supporting magnesium retention with taurine, replenishing the B vitamins that regulate fluid balance and nerve health, and lowering the blood glucose burden that is destroying the vascular pathway those nutrients travel through. Your legs are not failing you randomly. Your body has been communicating a very specific message through every cramp, every episode of swelling, every moment of aching pain at the end of the day. That message is about a disrupted cellular environment, one that can be systematically corrected through intentional nutritional strategy, not through a single supplement or a single food, but through understanding the interconnected system that keeps your muscular and circulatory health functioning at its best. Before you close this video, do one thing. Leave a comment telling me where you are watching from and which of these four mechanisms resonates most with your personal experience. Are you the person whose magnesium never seems to work? The Torah and connection. Are you someone who eats processed foods daily and recognizes the sodium-potassium imbalance? Are you someone with blood sugar concerns who never connected that to your leg symptoms? Your comment helps me understand what to go deeper on in future content, and it might help someone else watching recognize their own pattern in your words.